how you doing today? My name is Kirsty, aka Beth Bookish, and it's time for another round of the Adventurer's Path TBR. And this time around we're also featuring the spring semester of the magical readathon, aka Aurelium by Book Roast. So quick recap on last month. Unfortunately, I misplaced 4 of the books on my TBR. And after searching for them for nearly 2 days, I finally found them in a random box in the spare bedroom. So I was like, whew, panic over. Unfortunately, it did mean that of the ones on my actual game TBR, I only got to 3. And none of them had any bonus moves, so it means that I start the game with 0 moves on the board, so at least I've not gone backwards, but I haven't gone forwards. And it means that because I read 3 books, I do now have a life in the bank, so as I said before, I can either choose that life to remove a book from the TBR, or I can, once I've got all 3, I can just do multiple things. But I am just going to store that one for now, I'm not going to use it. So let's go to the board, let's get to the rolls. Let's just go. Okay, the board. As I said, I don't move any extra spaces because everything cancelled each other out, so we just go straight into the rolls. And as said, I'm going to do 6 rolls this time around. Roll number 1. 4. Hey, straight on to a bonus. Oh, hang on. Just realised I haven't put my cards out. Wheel of Fortune, people with special abilities. Roll number 2. 3. Blank. Hyped book or series. Roll number 3. Can we finish this one? 1, 2, 3. Doom. Okay. Oh, please be nice, please be nice, please be nice. We have... Okay, Mermaid, the Witch and the Sea, audiobook. Okay, I am getting more into audiobooks. Roll number 4. Ooh, so close. Here's a blank. I think we're going to do it. Adult main characters. Roll number 5. Is this going to be the final one for this round? Yes, it is. Do, do, pew. So, have we won the game or are we at another dead end? Please don't be a dead end. Hey! Oh my god! Eee! We found the dead end! No, we didn't. Let's get better counter sticker things. We found it! Which means I get to pull a reward. And it also means that we now need to reset the board. Because now we know that this was a dead end. And dead end. Badoo. Okay, I'm going to quickly reset the board. The board is reset. All of the thingies have now been put in new corners. The game's back in the middle and all of the previous prompts have been reshuffled back in because we start everything from fresh. And to start off the new reset of the board, we're gonna roll our d4 and find out which pathway we're going down. We are pathway 2, so we're going this way. And we're gonna go whoop, whoop, whoop. I think this is the second longest route. But we only have 1 more roll left of this round, so our final roll for this round is a 4. Which is our treasure chest of items to find. I have updated this finally. I did update it last month. What treasure are we going to find this month? What treasures await? What do we have to search for? Ooh, an element. So fire, ice, water, earth, metal, anything like that on the cover. That's quite handy. Okay, that's this month's rolls. Let's go pick some books. As you can see from the board, I didn't do too badly. I'm actually really happy with those rolls. The only problem I've got is there is very, very little crossover between my prompts and the Aurelian prompts. Not the best situation to be in, but also not the worst, so I am not too mad about it. I only actually ended up with 5 prompts this month because I had a reward, and for the reward I have decided that I'm going to do a special live throughout the month of April to basically just chill out with you guys. And it would just be nice to spend some time with everybody, spend a day hanging out, chilling out, and honestly lives at the minute are a really lovely thing for me and they are kind of my social life, so it'll be nice, and I'll try and get as many of you on as possible, like get some friends on and have some collabs, and it'll be great. It's going to be a fun day. So more on that coming soon. And then for this month's 5 prompts, we ended up with the first one, Well of Fortune. No! Yes, well, I wrote Wheel of Fortune in my notebook. But the Well of Fortune, which is a book with people with like extra abilities, so mutants, superheroes, werewolves, vampires, anything where some people have special abilities. And I've got Monstrous Volume 3 by Marjorie Liu. I do have 1 and 2 as well, but they will come up in a bit. And these also double up for a read-along for April. I can't remember the name of the creator, I will put it all up here. But for Volcanic Rock for Bookemon, we have to read 6 months worth of readathons, and it has to be a different, not readathon, reading, like book clubs and reading groups. And it has to be a different one each time. So last month I started with Mel's Daevabad trilogy read along. April is going to be the Monstrous trilogy, like the first 3 books in the Monstrous series, and then I haven't worked out what else is coming up. Then was a hyped book or series, and on the Monstrous train, Monstrous is one that I do see brought up more when I first started in 2019, but I remember loads of people talking about it for its art and how beautiful it is. And this one is a reread for me. I did read the first one. It wasn't my favourite, but it also wasn't my least favourite, but I did love the artwork and I am intrigued to keep going and see what happens next. Then we pulled from the Jar of Doom, and it was quite nice to me. It gave me a 6-hour or 7-hour long audiobook, so that I can get done in a day if I'm feeling in the mood for it. And that is The Mermaid, the Witch and Sea by Maggie Takeda, I believe. And I've not really heard anything about this one. The only things I have heard have been not fantastic, so I'm a little bit nervous about it, but I'm still, you know, it could be a quick, easy YA fantasy. Number 4 was the one that kind of gave me a bit of trouble because I was really hoping to get some of the books in that I need to read next month, like my arcs on NetGalley and stuff, and unfortunately none of them fit. I was like, great! So I ended up looking on my shelves, and between Magical Readathon and my Readathon, I can finish a series. I pulled adult male characters, and if I can double up and get them queer, then I get to move forward 2 spaces on the board, and I did. With Prince's Gambit, Book 2 in the Captive Prince trilogy by C.S. Pacat. It's going to be good, I can get it done. And then the final one was an element on the cover, and I went with Monstrous Volume 2 because it has waves on the front, which is water, which is an element, so that counts. If you're not here for Magical Readathon, you don't really care or don't want to know, then that is my TBR. But if you are interested to know a bit more about Aurelium and my character and what I'm getting up to, carry on listening. So for the Magical Readathon, G announced 2 new career pathways, one of which immediately screamed my character, and that was the Eldian excavation, right? Nearly got it. And that is an Eldia excavationist. My character grew up in the cavernous regions. She grew up living under mountains, and it's a very scholarly area as well. Like, she was really interested in all the research and the history, but she was mainly working with gems and crystals because of her parents, and she decided when she joined Aurelium that she wanted to explore more of the open world and the upstairs world, as she used to call it. And so in her first year at Aurelium, she studied botany. In her second year, she studied animal studies. And then this year, she's going back to her roots a little bit. She's returning back to the underground. She wants to now learn more about the paleontology and the actual history underneath the ground, as she's enjoyed learning about the upstairs, but she's missing that part of her. So she's returning to the dirt. She's returning to the ground and the rocks and the fossils. And instead of learning about the sparkly, she's now learning about the histories. And so for this, she needs to do 4 subjects in spring and 6 in autumn. But for this one, like I said, only 4. She needs to do law, conjuration, animal studies, and restoration. Our law lecture has been disrupted, so we've been given a 1-page sheet of law that we need to read. And then in the actual month of April, there will be an unlocked sort of side quest for us to go on there. I think you can opt to do it, but if you're doing that subject, you have to do it, I believe. And so we will be doing that. So we don't yet know what the prompt is there. But for animal studies, the prompt is a book with yellow in the title, on the title, a yellow title. So this could be that yellow is in the title, like yellow face, or it could be that the title itself is coloured yellow, like the one that I've chosen, which is Godkiller by Hannah Kaner. I've seen this everywhere. When I was in Scotland, it's felt like every single bookshop was heavily promoting this book. I remember I got an ARC of it last year from NetGalley and never got round to reading it, but now 3 people I know and adore, Leandra, Brittany and James, have all read it within very close concession of each other and all loved it. So I want to get on the train. For conjuration, we had to do a colour wheel, so as you can see on the clip here, I did do a colour wheel using the wheel that I've already got set up for my reading. But for this, I have gone with Guardians of the Dawn, Zara by S.J. Jones, because it is very red, it's very beautiful. Look at this cover. So pretty, I love it. And I'm really hoping, it's been plugged as, I think, is it Sailor Moon meets Voltron or something like that? It was definitely Sailor Moon meets something, so that instantly got my attention because I was a big Sailor Moon girly when I was like 10 years old, so I kind of want to get back into it and I feel like I will enjoy it. And then for restoration, it was a book that you think could cure a reading slump, and I'm going back to an old favourite and continuing my reread of the Dark Shades of Magic series. I've nearly finished the first book, so now it's time to get to A Gathering of Shadows again. These, and if I struggle with this, I'll switch to an Alini Singh, because they're just, for me, quick, easy, characters I love, storylines that aren't super complex and get me confused, world building that again is quite simplistic but is still really well done, and I just absolutely love these books. I love the writing, I love the characters. This is my least favourite in the series, but I still did give it 4.5 or 5 stars when I first read it, so I'm hoping it's going to do the same again. So those are the ones that I have to do. But we all know, it's me. I overachieve. I like to have a book for every single one, except this time I haven't done it for every single one. Shocker. I know. Basically, some of these, I was just getting a bit overwhelmed and annoyed when I was trying to find books yesterday. So some of these are basically just leaving them blank and I will get to them when I get to them. And if during the month I don't get to them, whatever. But there are a few that I would like to try and get. The first of these was the Zodiac recommendation. I went onto Google, I typed in books for Capricorn. You all know I'm quite sceptical, and it seems like I have a similar pattern here with tarot and with a lot of these things like ghosts, spirits, tarot, and astrology, where I'm very sceptical and I kind of have a bit of a, yeah, it's just kind of, you know, throw a dart, hope it sticks kind of logic. Except for the fact that every single time I go near any of the buggers, they make perfect sense, match me completely, and I get freaked out. And this was no different, because this is what came up for Capricorn. Which is exactly what I tried to describe and have struggled to put into words as to what I like with my reading. This is it. So yet again, the universe knows me better than me, and it's time to admit that maybe astrology isn't completely bogus science, and maybe there's something there. I don't know. Cautiously sceptical. And hate myself every time I do something and go, oh fuck. But for this one, it took me a few tries because there were plenty of books that popped up that I was like, oh, that could be interesting, but I'm going for ones that I own. And finally, one list came up with For the Wolf by Hannah Witten, which I need to do as a reread. And it was plugged as being good for Capricorns because both the characters are headstrong, they know what they want and they go for it, and I'm like, yeah, cool, fine, whatever. You tell me to read it, I'll read it. Demonology, we have a book you didn't pay for, and for that I have immediately put the book down and lost it. We have King's Rising by C.S. Pacat, which is the third and final book in the Captive Prince trilogy, so I will finally be able to finish all 3. hopefully. Alchemy is circle on a cover. That's one that I don't have a prompt for. I'll just find something as and when, maybe, and possibly not. Art of Illusion is play or game in the title, and again is one I just haven't bothered looking for. I did toy with Prince's Gambit, but I don't know if that would count, because I was thinking Gambit like card Gambit and Gambit from X-Men, and that made me think of games and playing. So is it twisting? Is it applicable? You let me know. Source of Light on the cover is Elemental Studies, and for that I have gone with Monstrous Volume 3 because there is fire here and there is lightning type stuff here, so and I feel like she herself is a source of light in this particular. I feel like it's a spell or something, and that is the source. Spells and Incantations was a number generator, and again you can see here I typed in a random set of numbers and I got 19, and do you know how difficult it is to find a book with exactly 19 letters? 17, got you covered. 16, got you covered. 18, brilliant. 20, I found so many. I found precisely one that was 19, and that is a book that I actually want to save till later on this year. So I'm going to go back through all my Audible and my Kindle books and try and see if I can pick up any others, but if not, I'm going to go back to that first one, and that will be Into the Crooked Place by Alexandra Christo, which I kind of want to read more near Halloween because it's got bats and stuff on the cover, and I don't know, I feel like it's a Halloween book. Out of Ice 3, A Lock or Key on the title, in the cover. The only one that I found immediately was The Archive by V. Schwartz. It has a key on the spine of the book, but that's a massive duology that's like this thick. I'm not going near that right now, so that is one I will find as and when. Inscription, pick 3 titles and then choose from those 3. I went to the Jar of Doom. I picked out 3 titles, as you can see here. I then had a quick look on my Kindle at all 3 to see which one was the most appealing. And I realised it's a very fantasy heavy month, so just to break up the fantasy a little bit, I have a contemporary romance, which is Season Starter, and I went with that one. Psionics and Divination is a prediction bingo. I'm just going to, at some point, if I get time at the end of the month, I will pick a book. And then the final one, that was probably the one that gave me the biggest headache and took me over an hour to find a goddamn book, so I will be reading this just out of pure sheer spite, was Shapeshifting, which was read a book that was blurbed by an author on your last 5-star read. Now, going with my rule of only picking books or authors that I already own books of, this took me a while. Because the first one I picked up, Strong Female Character by Fern Brady, it had about 30 blurbs on it. Not a single author that I own or am interested in. So I thought, well, let's go to the other 5-star from this year, which was Before the Coffee Gets Cold. There were no blurbs. So then I thought, let's just go through these shelves and hope that eventually I find one of my 5 stars, because there are about 15 or 25 stars on these shelves. Like, please, please, please. So I started at the top, I went all the way down, I came all the way up, I was going crazy, I wanted to cry, but then finally Invisible Life of Addie LaRue on the back had a quote from Alex E. Harrow, the author of Starling House, which I own an Audible copy of. So I was like, thank you. And that is it. That is the TBR, kind of tentative, plus maybe a few more. I've got a few that I'm not talking about because they are for upcoming vlog projects. So I've got about 6 books on that, and I've got another couple coming through for just personal use. So yeah, it's another one of those months where I keep saying I'm not going to give myself a heavy book load and then do. Let me know in the comments, are you taking part in Magical Readathon? If so, what order are you and what is your character studying this year? But until then, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe for more content from me, and I will see you on the next one.